Welcome to our first grade back to school night presentation. My name is Chrissy Hamilton, and Heather Harris and I teach first grade together. We are great teammates and been having a great time with students so far. We had a wonderful week. Kids did great. They seemed happy and had fun, and we're so excited to be here. I know it's a little bit odd this year, but it's going to be wonderful. We're just going to keep going with it. So let me begin with just some of the things for us to communicate with one another. This is our family communication slide, just the ways we can communicate with you. So the first way and the best way to communicate with us is probably that email. So we'll get it quicker. We'll hopefully be able to respond with you. Please know though that we are teaching during the day. So if you email us, I'm not sure we're going to be able to email you right back immediately, but I promise we'll get to you as soon as we can. If you haven't heard from us within about 24 hours, you can email us again just to make sure that didn't get lost. Other ways to communicate would be through our district and our school and our classroom websites. We all have those. They have a little bit more information on them. Facebook and Twitter, Eldorado has both of those, and you might want to sign up for those because that's fun to see some of the things. Other ways to communicate would be our EPRs, which are report cards. They go out twice a year, so you'll still get some information on that. And we also have parent-teacher conferences. Not sure how they'll look this year, but some way we'll meet somehow, either Google Meet or in person, so that you can get some information about your child and how they're progressing. The first thing I'm going to talk about is our writing curriculum. So we have a wonderful, wonderful program here called the Write Tools. I think I love it most because I think it helps students be able to build an understanding on how to make a paragraph with that topic and conclusion sentence and those big ideas and those detail sentences. It's amazing to see little kiddos come into first grade not really knowing how to make a paragraph, and they leave with these gorgeous paragraphs that have so much information. So this program has a great way of presenting it to kids. It's a creative way, has colors and manipulatives to help them so they can create a paragraph all about what they want to say. And so the three main areas we'll be working on in writing are our descriptive writing, our narrative writing, and our opinion writing. We are starting with descriptive right now at the beginning of the year, and we'll start next week talking about sentences, and we'll progress from sentences to making those big ideas, and you'll see lots of information come home about how to create a paragraph. But this program is a wonderful way to help them create those paragraphs. Our curriculum for reading. We have already started testing some of the kiddos for reading last week even to see where they're at. We do have a very individualized curriculum for reading, so we kind of identify where they're at, what they need to work on. We generally do have some grouping, so we'll put some kiddos together so they can work together and read together with some books. But we'll begin with a whole group instruction on a concept, maybe like character development. So I'll read a story and we'll talk about how do you identify the character, who is the character, tell me about that character, and then the kiddos will go out and they will be doing some different center activities to practice some skills, reading, listening to reading, maybe playing some word work games at their seats, and then I will be pulling groups, and Mrs. Harris will be pulling groups for reading instruction. So this is the time when we're going to be using that. Jan Richardson is a great reading guru that helps us give us some ideas on how to best reach kiddos for reading and help them progress as best they can. So we will start them at the level of reading that they have proven that they are from our testing, and then we will really focus on that reading level until we feel like they're strong, and then we'll move them on to the next reading level. At home, you can help them by just making sure that on the Raz Kids program that they're reading nightly or daily, and they're making sure that that's at their level, and then asking them lots of questions. Oftentimes I think that first grade readers are wonderful. They can read every word, which is fabulous, but it's someone get down to those questions about why do you think a character did something like that? So not just who is the character, but why they did it or what happened. So some more deeper level questions to help them build that comprehension. Because once they are a wonderful reader, they can read anything, then we just want to work on that comprehension. So our next program I want to talk a little bit about is our math program. It's brand new. It's called Envisions Math. This program is also great because it kind of brings in that reading piece where we're kind of delving deeper. not just saying, here's how you do it, but why would you do it? Or how do you think that happened? Or why and when? And all those kind of good questions. So this program is a rigorous program. It also has differentiation, which I like, which means that I will be helping kiddos who need, to review some concepts, kiddos that just need the extra practice right where they are, and then kiddos who need some enrichment. So our program includes all of those kiddos, and we want to make sure we meet them where they need to be met for all of that curriculum. We also go through calendars, and time telling and all that kind of fun stuff, so you'll see a lot of that as well. At home, to support that, you will be able to get onto the math program, and you can practice see some of the videos they show that I've shown in class. You can show them again, you can see what we're talking about. There'll be extra practice pages to do, and there'll also be some good math games to play that go along with this program. So next, our science and social studies curriculum. We have a lot of fun things to do there. We're going to be working in social studies. We do a lot with our communities, the jobs in our community, the families in our community, the cultures in our community, which will be fun. And then in addition, we have some financial literacy, so it's always fun to learn about that money. Science is also fun. We're going to be looking at patterns in the sky, the communication with light and sound, parents and their offspring, and then parts and organisms. So those are kind of the things that we will focus on during this first grade year. A little bit about our assessments. So we have already started our assessments individually. So I pulled kiddos and kind of identified what letters and sounds they know, what kind of phonics concepts they understand. We just read some books, got some comprehension information already. So we've already got that, but we'll continue to do that as I read with them weekly. I also will do kind of quick running records to just kind of see how they're going and how they're progressing. If I need to move them up or if we need to go back and review a concept, we'll do that. So that's how we would work with reading. Math, there will be chapter tests that will help guide us and see how they're progressing. We will also use an iReady assessment. We started this last year. That's a computerized assessment that will give us information about reading and writing for students. We will do some writing prompts, probably about every 4 weeks or so, just to see if they understand the concepts of sentences, nouns and verbs. Do they understand what a topic sentence is, a conclusion sentence, as we move on? And you'll get all this information in our weekly emails about what concepts we're working on, and you can ask them questions and see how they're progressing. And then we do have the end of the year summative assessments as well. So we included some of the first grade I can statements. This is great because it tells you all the things that we want kiddos to do. So if you click on this link, it'll help you know all the things in reading, writing, math, all the things we want them to know by the end of the year. Now these are I can statements that are the basic things that kiddos need to know in first grade. So if your kiddo kind of knows some of those things, expect them to know even more, because that's what we're going to make sure we do. We're making sure we differentiate and make sure that every kid gets what they need. So these are just the basic I can statements for you to be able to see what a first grader should know by the end of the year. This information is kind of a grading, because there's so many ways to grade, percentages or letter grades, or we have meets, exceeds, approaching, and does not meet. So it kind of helps you understand if you get a math test home and it says 84%, what would that equal on the report card? And it would equal the meets expectation. So if you get something home and it says 70%, you're like, oh, that's kind of in the approaching area. So just kind of for you to review so you know our report cards, how they correlate with percentages and letter grades.
Thank you, Ms. Hamilton. This is Heather Harris. I am Ms. Hamilton's teammate right next door. We are teaching first grade this year. And I was just going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. So the next slide shows work at home. So with this hybrid situation, we actually have some of the kids that are going to be in school, and some of them are going to be at home, working from home. At the top, you'll see a first grade remote learning weekly parent newsletter. What we are going to do is we're going to do one for the A cohort and one for the B cohort. So when you get the weekly newsletter, you're just going to click onto the cohort that your child belongs to, and it will give you all of the information that you need for that upcoming week, the things that we expect for you to do at home. Hopefully that makes sense. We also are doing every morning at about 8:45, we want all of the students at home to log in to a Google Meets. We will be sending the link for that as well. And during that time, Our kids that are in school will also be on this Google link. And so everybody will have a chance to be together. So we will have our whole class together every morning from about 8:45 to approximately 9:15 or so. We will be doing a social emotional lesson during that time. And then we will make sure that all of the kids are kind of getting to know each other, even though they're not in the classroom together. During that time, we will also be taking attendance. So make sure that you do your best to get your kiddo to log in at that 8:45 time. Working from home will take place then with your child's cohort when they are not in the classroom. So if you are in the A cohort, you come to school on Monday and Wednesday. B cohort comes to school on Tuesday and Thursday, and then those opposite days you will be working from home. On Friday, we will be including a home lesson that will go right out to you from our classroom live. So everybody will be on a Google Meets together, and we will be working through a math lesson during that time. And finally, Clever is a new program that the district has come up with this year, and it's going to kind of help streamline and make sure that it's real easy for your child and you to just click on one place, and that's Clever, and it will bring you to all of the different apps that you need. So for example, Raz Kids, there's iReady on there, there's all sorts of different apps that your child will need, so you will literally have everything you need at your fingertips once you get through that Clever. There's a QR code that will be in your home learning folder, and that's how you get on to Clever. So it should be very easy and very streamlined. We are also going to use Seesaw, I'll tell you, and that is a wonderful program that most of you are familiar with. It's going to look very similar to how it looked last year, and you will be able to access Seesaw through Clever, and then you can log in from there. So as far as all of the other login information, everything should just automatically populate for you via Clever, and you can always give us a text or a email if you have any trouble with that. So hopefully that makes sense. And this next slide here, let's see if I can get it to go to the next slide. There we go. The next slide talks about arrival and dismissal. So our school day goes from 8:30 to 3:30. We would love for the children to arrive anywhere between 8:30 and 8:40. There really is no supervision outside until 8:30. First bell is going to be at 8:35. Our first grade students are going to go right through that front door, right kind of where the flagpole is and our main entrance. They're going to go ahead and come right in that way. We're going to have a soft start, so that means they just go ahead and let themselves in. There will, of course, be people that are holding the door open, and they will help guide them to our classrooms. The tardy bell is at 8:40. So if you arrive after 8:40, please just tell your little kiddo to go ahead and step in to the school and check in at the front office just to make sure that we get them attendance-wise. And we're really asking that we empower our students this year to go ahead and do this on their own. Unfortunately, we cannot let any parents come into the school building at this time, and so you may not escort your kiddos to the classroom. But if you can go ahead and just have a little talk with them about how important it is for them to be independent. They're great big first graders now, and they can do it. And they also know right where our classroom is. We practiced during our orientation week. So. And then school ends at 3:30. So if you could meet us over by the flagpole, just right at the front entrance, that's where we're going to be at the end of the day. And if you can make sure too, so our specials time for first grade is at the very end of the day. So a lot of times gym class might be held outside. So if you can make sure to not grab your kiddo from gym class, instead wait until the classroom teacher, either Miss Hamilton or myself, has the little group of kiddos, that would be super helpful. And we ideally are always going to be dismissing from around that flagpole in the front part of the school. And let's see, our next one is attendance. This one's a tricky one because we are not exactly sure exactly what the attendance is going to look like, but know this, Attendance is going to be taken during our morning meetings. So our at-home learners as well as our login from home learners will be considered attending. And if your child is going to be absent, if you know that they don't feel well, please go ahead and keep them at home and call the attendance line. So the attendance line is right here. There's also an Eldorado app, which I do suggest that you get if you don't have it already. It'll give you updates on fire drills. It'll give you updates on all sorts of things that are going on with Eldorado. So try to make sure that you get that Eldorado app on your cell phone, and you can report an absence that way as well. I did put in here the state district attendance policy. At this time, the truancy part of attendance is just a little bit up in the air, but we do definitely want your children to attend as much as possible, whether they are at home or whether they are in school. Dress code, I did put this in here too, just because we do want to reiterate that the masks are required every day, all day. We definitely have mask breaks. We have some times where we get to go outside and sit and have snack. They, of course, don't need to wear their mask while they're eating. If they need a drink, they can get their mask break as well. And then during recess, they're not required to wear masks. But the kiddos do need to be practicing wearing those masks all of the time. Face shields may be worn. We said that the mask was needing to be worn as well, but I do believe that for kiddos, they can choose if they want to have a face shield or if they want to wear their mask. That's the choice that they can make. And I will have more clearance on that too as we keep going. DCST policy is just, of course, wear appropriate clothing. No hats are allowed in the building. And, you can kind of read through the rest of the items that we have on here. Lost and found is definitely kept here. So if your kiddo does lose something, we can definitely see if we can find it in our lost and found. So that's for dress code. Our next slide talks about recess, snack, and lunch. We have 20 minutes for our first graders to eat lunch, and then we have a 20-minute recess for them. Snack and water bottles, if you could just make sure that water is the only liquid that they have in their water bottles, and then healthy snacks. And please make sure that there's no nuts involved in any of the snacks that they bring. Reason being is we have several kiddos that are very allergic to nuts, so we need to make sure that we're doing a no nut zone. We ask that there's no candy, something good, healthy, protein, something that can be a good thing to kind of help them sustain through the morning. Right now we're asking for 2 healthy snacks, so we do 1 in the morning and then 1 in the afternoon. And I also request, too, that we make sure that the snacks are just in their backpack, not in their lunchbox. It makes it really tricky when we're trying to get snack and they have to go into their lunchbox to find them. Birthday treats are always welcome, store-bought, please, and nut-free. And then you can also choose to do a non-food item if you wish. Lots of kids decided to do like little birthday pencils or fun things like that. So it's up to you. If you'd like to do birthday treats, just contact your teacher and let us know what you're thinking. And for lunch, in the past we've had the kiddos memorize their lunch number, which is still a good thing. They really should know that lunch number. At this time, however, the students only need to make sure that they know their name. So they just have to tell Miss Patty their name when they come up. And we have some little sticks that we made for them that have all of their information on it. So at this time, that's all they need to do. And classroom specifics. Right now, we really don't have a lot of volunteer work, but if you are interested in working from home, cutting, putting maybe some books together for us, fixing some things, you are welcome to help us from home. So give us an email and let us know if that's something you're interested in. Classroom management, we follow the Panther Pride school-wide. There's a PBIS program, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, and then the whole class point system that we do, as well as individual rewards. So each classroom's a little bit different, but we definitely make sure that there's rewards and for those kiddos that are meeting our expectations. PBIS is right here. So this is our Panther Roar. So we came up with this, I believe it was last year. Be respectful, own your own actions, always be safe, and be responsible. So those are the things that we're looking for Panther Pride. We're looking for those kiddos to always be kind of in control of themselves and taking care of what they need to take care of. So there's our roar. You'll see up above that there's a little Panther Roar piece of paper, and your children might receive one of those for showing those Panther Roar expectations. Pride is very similar to, it's a kind of injunction with Roar tickets, and it's a school-wide character education program that we like to do, and we use a program called Second Step. So this will be a lot of what we do as a whole group, online learners as well as in-class learners on Friday. We will be doing some lessons from Second Step, and we will be talking about some social emotional things. We'll discuss restorative circles and, do physical, intellectual, emotional, and social kinds of things on that morning, on Friday morning. So you can visit the website too underneath About Us, and it'll tell you a little bit more if you are interested. I'm a big believer in zones of regulation, so it's kind of fun for them because it's recognizable because they use the inside out characters. We've got blue, green, yellow, and red. So we talk about how important it is to know that any feeling that you're feeling throughout the day is totally normal, and it's okay if you're feeling a little bit red, but how are we going to very quickly get us out of the red zone? How are we going to get out of that mad, angry zone and come right back to our green zone, which is happy and calm? What I like for the kids to do is kind of notice which zone they're in and how they are going to move to that next, more happy zone. Finally, if you have questions, I would love for you to just be jotting them down. You can feel free to email Ms. Hamilton or myself if you've got specific questions for each teacher. And then mark your calendars on Thursday, August 27th from 6:30 to 7:30. We are going to be available together to answer questions. So it'll be a live Google Meets, and we will be able to get on together, and then you can ask any questions that you might have, and we will do our best to answer them. And just remember, we're always available via email, and we're so happy that you were able to watch this. It's so different this year, and we both appreciate that you were able to hop on here and kind of watch and learn a little bit more about first grade and what we expect. So thank you so much, and we will be looking forward to talking to you soon. Bye now.